getting away from the Jersey Shore and get a Delaware. I like Delaware, but I like going as far south as possible. But I mean, half my family is from the Atlantic City area, but I'm not that interested in it. It's not their. We'll just say it's not my grandparents and great grandparents Atlantic City. But I love getting down to Rehoboth and Bethany and Dewey and Ocean City, Maryland.
Yeah, Rehoboth has definitely changed throughout the years.
Oh yeah, they're building up all over the place.
But Rehoboth, yeah.
The whole Delaware shoreline.
Yeah.
If it's not a state park, they're putting high rises and condos in.
I think they're taking a big chance doing that. Next hurricane, you never know when the hurricane
Yeah,
will
that's
get
the whole problem. You
down.
don't know.
I did not.
Yeah, I think
I just-
it's a great
I
place
did.
to go for
I really
vacation,
got that.
but I wouldn't want to
Going through these
place
bills
there
every month, I mean, I didn't see
because of that,
why
you
they
just
don't
don't
look at it.
know what's gonna come up the coast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, actually, that is the one we haven't
Big one.
received yet.
Even in your back bay with water surge, with heavy water surge.
yeah, well, that's the problem in,
Showtime.
Is it?
yeah, sure is. Time flies.
Alright, call this meeting to order. Motion to approve the minutes from last.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll not vote for Robeson here. No correspondence, treasury report.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
No second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Sewer agent report.
It says here, 120 days out.
Mhm.
We bill quarterly, which is 90 days.
Yeah.
So if they owe 2 months, it's 180 days, which is more than 120 days. But yet, it looks here, if you take the first one here, it says $1,220, and he owes $1,462, which would be 2 quarters.
That'd be 2 additional quarters, correct?
So why isn't one moved over to 120 days?
Not sure how that's calculated in the system.
Okay, the other thing is, I guess this would be a Joan question. Are you guys working on leaning all of these?
We have the liens and we are working on the liens.
Actually, so we did meet about 3 weeks ago, 4
Two
weeks ago, right?
about 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Right, it was right
yeah.
before I went on vacation.
Right, yeah,
So we met and talked about the liens and the process, where they were in that process, what we need
Yes.
to do to clean those up, identifying additional liens as well. So Joan and her office have a copy of all of this, as well as the previous liens. And we wanted to also identify some of the other accounts that were out there, such as the one that is going into foreclosure soon, which is one of the newer ones that we had. We had talked about those 4 that aren't on the list yet. That was one of those, so, you know, we are keeping an eye on it. Joan's doing and her team are doing a good job. She has somebody that specializes directly in the
Right,
process for us.
and her name's Liana, she is a paralegal in our office who has worked in collections for probably 20 years or more. We brought her in on the meeting, and we have a box of the lien files from Attorney Orlando's office, and we are working on them.
Also discussing some additional strategies now we can wrap up and close out some of these liens in the short term rather than allowing them to, or having allowed them to sit over a period of time.
The 101 Killian Drive, they're actually actively trying to sell that.
Okay.
So, we probably should get on that bandwagon.
101 Killian, K-I-L-L-I-A.
That would be, the account number would be 647-0, John. That's the one that's there.
647, being actively marketed. Okay, I'll make sure that
And-
one's.
And where do we stand with the people who have liens that don't know they have them?
I'm not sure I'm following.
Okay, so like Jason Aguirre, now he's accumulated some of these liens, but he bought that property, it had liens on it, but he has no idea that it has liens on it. And, where is the other one on Albert Street? No, that's not it.
Wouldn't that show up on a title search?
It would, I mean, any.
Well, it would depend. If you did a private sale, not necessarily.
Right.
This is where the problem is coming in, I think, for some of these property owners.
If
So-
there was a reputable title company that was involved, where the sale was conducted and there was title insurance with the sale, the lien would be paid at the time of closing, because a title company is not going to insure a property that doesn't have clear title. The idea of the lien is to place a cloud on the title. With private sale, it's possible that someone, if there was no attorney involved, then it's possible, or no reputable real estate company involved, it's possible no bring down search or title search would have been done at the time of the sale. But that's the beauty of the lien being in rem. That means it runs with the property, so as long as it's not paid, it's with the property. Now, if you know of a case where there is a new buyer and they don't appear to know that there's a lien, let us know, because we'll send them a copy of the filed lien.
Okay, so the one that pops in mind is the Grazioli property that changed hands on Albert Street. It now doesn't show up on this, but it shows up on the lien list.
GRA,
Is that 29 Albert? Is that the
No,
is that the one?
it's not 29 Albert.
Okay.
29 Albert Street?
No,
It's
no,
not-
it's
it's
not.
not.
It's not something else.
Okay.
That was the only one on the street.
It's probably
Is
27,
that in Brandy's?
Brandy's place.
Is that in her name or her?
It wasn't, well, her married name was Grazioli, but she bought the property, her last name was Fultz, F-U-L-T-Z.
Oh, okay, sure.
And, it was sold, I know they did a title search, and I know that we issued a, sewer search. But for some reason or other, this one keeps coming up as still being liened. She has no idea, how can she, resolve that if she doesn't know?
Well, if it was settled, if the lien was settled, if it was paid at closing, and someone simply forgot to satisfy it on the docket, we can do that. We can file a satisfaction piece on the docket. That's simple to do.
What I'm
if in
saying is,
fact
we
the
just
lien
need to
has
clean
been
it
settled.
up.
Right, sure. If the lien has been settled, we can take care of that. If you have evidence that the lien was settled and should have been satisfied and that a mistake happened and it wasn't, it's easy to fix.
Well, I wonder if the woman that bought that now, that's in there now, if she had the title search done.
Well, yeah, because she got a mortgage, so mortgage company ain't gonna not do a title search. And there were other liens, sewer liens that were satisfied. So I'm of the opinion that this somehow or other just got missed.
Well, mortgage and title are separate matters though. You're talking about a mortgage lender rather than a title company. So if in fact she had a mortgage company wouldn't necessarily have done a search on that particular title for that particular lien. So there's a possibility there. If she secured a mortgage, if there was no title insurance company involved, that very possibly could have slipped through there
Well, maybe-
and ended up on her.
I can't imagine
Maybe she
what
got
mortgage
that,
company in the world would close on a property without doing a title search. I mean, it could have over $1 million of liens on it. You would,
You would hope.
yeah, but if,
Most likely, there would have been
Most
a search for liens done on their collateral, because they need to find liens that are senior or priority.
Correct.
and like I said, there were other liens on that property, sewer liens that were satisfied, so.
If it's one that was just missed in the process, then I think Joan's right, we can just, that we have paperwork to the fact that it was or should have been, then I think we close it out. That's too easy to do. But we need to see something in order to make that happen.
Right.
Well, I mean, if nobody tells them, they'll never know, and they'll never be able to say, hey, why wasn't this taken care of at title? And she can't contact her title insurance company and say, hey, this should have been satisfied, and
Why can't she?
she doesn't know it. Who's gonna
If
tell
she
her?
doesn't, if she's not aware.
If she's not aware of this title. Goes back to the original point.
Right, yeah, and, it's just like, I'm 99% sure that he did not use a title company when he closed. He just bought the property private sale. But, once again, do we have an obligation to say, hey, you owe us this money? Or do we just leave it sit on the books until,
Well, I would say that you should put the property owner on notice, because it's possible that this property owner may go for a home equity loan or something else where there's going to be a lien search run, discover this, and it's better to give someone the opportunity to take care of the problem now before it comes up as a surprise. I mean, they may assert defenses to it, they may end up filing an affidavit of defense. But I think we at least have to give the opportunity to have them pay the lien off or contest it.
Is there any way to send in that lady some correspondence as far as?
well, I think the first step is to let Joan go ahead and see whether it should have been satisfied. If it was, then we should just take care of it.
Okay,
But
well,
if it wasn't, then I think we're obligated to send her a letter saying, hey, this was not satisfied at settlement, and you owe the money.
okay, well, I just need to know, first of all, what title company it was,
Yeah, I would have no idea.
and, I'm not sure exactly who I would contact.
That's not,
Doesn't Sheila have a file there where they issued the,
that
Sewer
address
search.
isn't on here.
who they issued them to?
I
Unless it's
I
on
can't
the-
answer that fully.
Yeah,
I'm just being honest with you, I believe
Yeah.
she does, but whether that's retained by, I think Deborah retains some of that as well when we do that, because that's Gail that usually gets because we're paid for those.
Yeah.
Because that has to go through, council. So, we do have a record somewhere in the office. Now, how that's recorded, whether it's recorded against the account number or recorded against the property, I'd have to go research.
yeah, if you could find out who to contact and the basic facts of the lien, I would be glad to do some investigation, and, because nobody should have a lien against their property that was paid off and just needs to be satisfied on the docket. That's not right. It can impair somebody's credit rating. It's a serious, it's a potential problem. So we need to put something right. It's a problem that's very easy to fix.
I don't know what that address is. What-
Yeah, it's probably 27, I believe 29, so that's the one before, I would think maybe 27, but, our postal master doesn't necessarily file, Benjamin Franklin's recommendation on addressing houses.
No.
Yeah, she's next to Harrell.
Yeah. So, the only question is, and I don't really know the answer to this or not, with the guy on Old River Road, that didn't pay his bill because we didn't bill him,
The Clemens,
did he ever pay for the EDU?
the EDU, I'm not sure well, I know that we sent him a full accounting of what he owed, and he's on a payment plan,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
paying that.
But it just struck me, I wonder whether they ever paid for the EDU.
I wouldn't know where to start with that one, so, is it possible that he didn't? Was there an original cost for that EDU?
Yeah, like $5,000.
Right, if there was an original cost for it and is connected to the system,
Okay.
I think
I couldn't tell
we
you,
should, it most likely was paid.
we would hope.
But-
Well, so John, what this was there was an individual who was actually never billed at all,
But was connected to the system.
but it was connected to the system. So we don't know for sure how that happens, but we're in the process of correcting it, and he's been fantastic about working with us to correct that as well.
Now, was he the original owner when the sewer went through, or was it purchased after the
It
sewer?
was built afterwards.
Oh, it was built
It
after.
was one of the new ones on, Old Gibraltar Road. All right, I'll make a motion that, we accept the sewer aging report.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
And Rich, you and I can talk further about, again, further cleaning up some of these potential issues.
Alright, we'll sit down again with, Leon and
Okay.
Deborah, I think would be the two to get in touch with
Do
first.
it as a Zoom meeting, save everybody
Yeah.
some time.
Yeah, excellent.
Any business? Any new business? John?
Okay, so the main points, I had I met with my two guys that are gonna be doing the lateral work. We had a kickoff meeting. So we went over the list of addresses, that we had gotten back, from that, paper that was sent out. So we reviewed the addresses and I made the copies of that. We went over the maps, the sewer system. So Jose was on vacation last week, so they're gonna be starting, I think they started today, I have to check in with them yet. But, so we're getting out there to start that, the sewer lining project is underway. We had some minor maintenance at the plant in June. The big thing was we did all of our summer yearly oil changes, filter changes, greasings, all that stuff. So our preventative maintenance was done. There is a typo in my report. There were no violations for the month. Everything made permit on our samples. The effluent million gallons a day is down in June, with the drier weather that we had. So 2.6 million treated for the month, which is good. It's a good amount for the plant. And yeah, all of our lab samples made permit. Pretty quiet month at the plant. The big thing is, that we're starting the collection system
So
stuff.
what the lateral is all lined and it's a done deal.
The mains.
With the going on the railroad track.
Yeah, so I had talked to Mike Schaefer, I think it was Thursday or Friday, they were in there working. So Keith had one of his guys down there with them. I know that they did crack one manhole lid. I sent him down behind the shed. I think we had some spare lids down there. But he never called me back. So either they found a lid behind the shed or they went out and got a new lid to put on there. But yeah, I'm waiting for the detailed report from Keith because they should have done a pre and a post lining televising. So I'm waiting for those videos to come out from Keith's office.
Those are the only ones we're gonna do right now?
Yeah, I mean, we did that whole stretch there, all that vitrified clay. I know from some of the work that we did going back a month or two with Ditch Creek, that in the upper sections of Killian and Seifert, there were some connections where the laterals meet the main that looked like they probably needed to be grouted. So I think Keith's a little more familiar with that than I am. I think they can send a robot in and seal those connections. I think they call them like a top hat. It partially goes into the lateral and partially stays in the main, and it seals. So we may have some work up there to be done, but I think what Keith's waiting for is some of my reports to start coming to him from our lateral work.
Wasn't there some that came apart? Was there one?
There were joints in that vitrified
Joints
clay that were separated.
How dramatically?
Yeah.
How dramatically, I think he's what he was. How far were they?
Oh,
BTC, how far apart were that BTC?
I think the joints are every 4 feet.
And I think what Harold was asking was, how far have they
was that
separated,
joint?
had they come apart, was there any indication of that in the?
It's hard to say, but I saw some of them that were at least an inch or more separated.
And, did we get any further with getting the bids on the stuff for the grant money we,
So the last I heard, I had a meeting with Keith's new engineer, the younger guy, Brian. I met him down at the plant, we went over the plan. You know, I spoke about what kind of equipment I think we should put in there, you know, what pump manufacturers, things like that. So as far as I know, he's working on getting something drawn up. But I haven't gotten anything out back from that.
I guess this is more of a question for you. With the regards to the two people that had backups, have we resolved our issues with them, or is that still outstanding?
That's still outstanding at this point, though. According to documentation that was shared with you by Mr. Showalter, and that's been shared with the insurance company, and that's really an insurance company issue at this
The
point.
analytical sheet was actually me. When they all come back, I analyze them and send them to Keith, but
What I'm saying is, those ones that I have, those sheets that homeowners have filled out, those are the ones you're referring to?
Yep.
Yes, those were sent to the insurance company for disposition.
Okay.
So, that'll be an EMC and their insurance company matter to work through.
we don't need to be involved.
That's correct, sir.
And the last thing I have is actually for Rich, if there's an updated list, if any more of those papers have come back for the lateral inspections.
Okay.
The one I have has there were 31 out of 66 responses back. That was the last updated one I have.
When we did the one that we were just talking about with the drains and all this stuff,
Back in,
people had no idea what they were looking at, or,
No, I mean, a drain's a drain.
well, yeah, I know, but they weren't sure, and, some of them were pretty, they had no clue. So,
So a recommendation in that?
I don't really have one unless we do a door-to-door survey. Do we have anything that would indicate that we need to look at a particular property?
Keith has highlighted a few that stood out on the video from Ditch Creek.
So if we don't have them, maybe we go knock on a door. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't know if I had gotten one initial that said, okay, all these ones came in, but I imagine that maybe more had trickled in over the last couple.
So, yeah,
Just to make sure, they're more or less the permission slips.
Yeah.
To enter the
Correct.
property.
correct, to do repair work as required.
Right.
Correct, so maybe if we can do a cross analysis between what Ditch Creek did and those properties. Obviously, if they've given us permission, it's an easy one for us to do. If there's an issue or a concern, then we could at least either approach the property owner with another letter, knock on the door and say, hey, we this is the issue that we discovered, and show them what we discovered. Would you, and here's why we sent the original letter, or would you want us to continue, and so on. So we might be able to do that.
This is your chance. If you don't do it now and there is some problem in the future, you're on the hook.
You're responsible. Yeah, you're responsible. I think that's fair.
Now, you're going both ways when you televise.
Yeah. Yep, so we're gonna do, from the trap to the main, and then we're gonna go from the trap to the house as far as we can. Cause we're gonna be going uphill, so we should be able to get pretty far with the push camera, but if they're very long, we may not be able to make it all the way to the house. We'll go as far as we can. And record the footages. So.
Yeah, because up there you got this side of the road is up, this side's down.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of them are long. There's some ones up there that are longer. So,
Is the one all the way to the top of the hill connected at the end of Killian?
I think so. There's a manhole there in that little turnaround area. Yeah, it probably
That's pretty good
connects,
run.
it probably connects right in.
And that's a lot of work comes off that hill.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yes,
It was Killian's turkey farm.
well, if, you know, and another thing we thought about too is, you know, we've had decently dry weather, if we don't see kind of what we saw during Ditch Creek, when Ditch Creek was out in the rain, you know, we may want to take a look at the certain properties again in wet weather to see if sump pumps may be an issue.
You know, where you're not getting I and I want to dry weather like you would.
Yeah, I mean, we can still see, you know, defects, cracks, breaks, things like that, that you know when it is wet, those are gonna be letting water in. The thing that you won't see though is you won't see a person's sump pump cycling on and off. You know, if there's one connected, so. That's it for me, unless there's any other questions.
Keith said he wanted you to do this.
Well, I was
Then he
afraid.
Yeah, you're doing Keith's report.
No, no.
I was afraid I was going to have to be both solicitor and civil engineer tonight.
Well, like I said, I know that, you know, we're working on the lining, and I know that Keith's guy Brian is working on the grant money stuff. I just haven't gotten any update from them where they're at.
You haven't categorized as far as that grant money.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is tackling the basement and updating that and modernizing it. Reducing the number of valves. We're gonna be switching from a 4-pump system to a 2-pump system, which is simpler, and it prevents pumps from just sitting and seizing up from no use down there. Commercial dehumidification, repainting of the walls and the floor, removal of the gas equipment. Yeah, I mean, that's a good chunk right there of what we talked about.
He's taking a burner around there, doing nothing burner.
The methane burner is gone in this, well, I don't know if it's gone off the roof, but it's disconnected. It's disconnected in there. Really, the goal would be to, if we can cut out the stuff that we don't need, we really don't need that boiler in there, which just sits there and burns propane for, really to heat the sink water, you know, so we can get rid of that and just have like a small, you know, whatever it is, little hot water heater.
How the reed beds look?
1 and 2 are good, no growth. We're gonna need to transplant, which we're gonna do this fall. I mean, we're just not getting any new growth, but we're gonna transplant either. Keith, I think, is putting out to bid the other 2. So when that happens, we're gonna use those reeds to transplant to the other ones. Instead of getting rid of them, we can just transplant them over.
Transplant them and then transplant half of them back.
Yeah, but at least we'll keep some going. So, but it only takes a year or 2 for them to really take off once they get going, so.
Yeah, well, I think the one time we did this, they took a whole bunch of them and put them in a shower. You remember that?
I remember that
Yeah.
plant tour, that was pretty
Yeah.
disgusting.
Give them a little shower every day to keep them alive.
Yeah.
That worked. All right.
I don't have much to report except the good news that during this month, the improvements and maintenance and the pump and haul agreement for Green Hills Estates were finalized, and all financial security was in place with the requested terms.
That's good news.
So it's, yeah.
After like 3 years of them saying they're gonna do this,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
It's all done now.
So the supervisors signed that then?
Yeah, they would have signed up, they signed off on it.
The lease. I somehow know, I think it's gonna come back to catch us by the shorts. The supervisors are now applying for the grant for the run the line up there, and I'm feeling at some point, the agency that reviews the grant's gonna say, let's see the agreement.
Okay, I'll get you some names for conflicts council, get, a lease in place.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to get that done because, like I said, that's what started this to begin with. We thought we would have to apply and produce the lease. Well, now it's gonna be the other way around, the supervisors are applying, and I think that somebody's gonna ask for the lease.
All right, we'll take care of I'll get you names, get both sides' names for conflicts council, and we'll, get that together. I mean, the lease really is a document that mainly has to be just simplified from its 1986 form. In the 1986 form, the issue was the EPA grant, and this is for any and all grants. So a lot of the language has been changed. So a lot of the work has been done already. So
You still have
it's
my
just
notes?
a matter, what do you say?
You still have my notes?
Yeah, I still have your notes, so a lot has already been done. So it should be simple to get conflicts council into the picture to finalize things, and I'll get you names. All right, we'll take care of that. And that's all I have unless anyone else has any other questions.
Oh, the annual water usage up at East Point, I guess.
Yeah, he wants us to review the annual water usage report.
Just to make sure somebody's not using more than what they have EDUs paid for. So I don't know, everything should be metered up there.
The only one I read is, everything's metered. The only one I read anymore is Newcastle, because they have a deduct.
Yeah, deduct
Yeah,
meter.
that's been.
Yeah.
That's it, and then the only other thing I have is Cypher Camp, which I have to do now-ish, for their yearly, but, I don't think anyone's really using the water guys, not like it used to, their sewer meter, we're not reading that anymore.
Yeah, but, I think a question come up about whether or not the dog groomer up there, how much water usage they're doing and what they're doing with all their wastewater. And, right now our trailer has a wash down process or something. I think they were just gonna make sure that it's still going in their holding tanks like it was and not down our system.
Okay.
I
I'm
could
not,
be wrong about that.
I haven't inspected anything or Keith hasn't sent.
I can work on offline and come back to you with, or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it don't have to be done.
I think they're all, I mean,
It's just a,
Sheila gets all the
you know,
readings
want to
from
do some verification.
Aqua or American, right? Whatever.
Yeah, right, I think it's American.
Yeah. So as far as EDUs go, Sheila's Aqua data would tell you that, if they're using what they're supposed to be using.
There was a spike in one of them in the last month's report, that I recall.
If you remember, we had the landscaper up there,
Newcastle, yep.
we had a problem with them when they first came in. They were filling all these huge tanks for pesticides or fertilizers or whatever. And we were charging for the water usage.
Right,
Yeah.
and that was when they asked for a deduct meter agreement, and that was, I remember doing that agreement probably before 2010,
Yeah, that
a
was,
long time ago.
Yeah, with their deduct meter, since I've been here, I don't think they've ever used more than one EDU's worth in every quarterly report that I've done, so.
Well, that actually brings up a question, if you don't mind my asking here for the board's guidance. So we had a homeowner that actually called in today talking about EDU reduction. Apparently they bought a property that was at one time apartments, have converted it back into a single family dwelling. And it was had 2 EDUs attached to it. Is there a process by which they can request a
we
reduction
have
of
to
EDU?
disconnect the plumbing, go into the second unit
Okay,
and cap that off.
Where's the property at?
I don't have it on the top of my head. It was brought to my attention this afternoon, just it was a question and didn't have the property address, just as we were walking out the door.
I wonder if it's the one up there on 724 where it used to be, Hanaho.
Oh, well, there should,
No, they were.
that should have been 3 or 4 EDUs.
And it may be more than that, but that's the way it came across to me. when it was
Yeah,
presented to us
and
here.
that was one of those deals too, where they just started putting in apartments. And originally they didn't have the EDUs until they got caught. And, you
Yeah,
know,
and but yeah, they have to cap everything.
Okay. I'll get back with Sheila. She'll take it all right at the end of the day. We have the information. We'll reach back out to them, get more
Unless there's
information
something
from them.
else. I think that's all I'm pretty sure that's all they have to do is cap.
Yeah, they would,
everything.
they just need to make it impossible to use, the additional dwelling or use it as an additional dwelling.
yeah, I think there was 2 apartments in the house. One in that one out back, and then the other one, at one time they raised, guinea pigs and gerbils in there for research, but I think there was one in there too, but I don't know, I couldn't say that for sure.
So essentially, even if they've changed it into a single family dwelling, if they have 2 completely separate lines and can't cap it, because they'd have to reconnect, like let's say they had 2 units there, they'd have to reconnect the 2 units together through one, then to go back to one EDU.
But it could be the way it is now, like when it's coming through the other one.
Right, but we don't know that.
Right.
We'll have to do some research on that.
We have no idea how that was even hooked up.
Well, it said it just appeared, like Everett's Lane, just appeared one day.
Uh,
Right, thank you for the information. I'll be able to go back and start the research on that.
I guess we need to make a motion to authorize the township staff to review the water usage.
Well, it says request the board of supervisors.
Well, on his report, it has request all the township staff, probably that on the
Okay, it says, I
agenda.
mean, I have it here, it says request the board of
Yeah,
supervisors
that's on the
for the.
agenda, but on his,
Oh, on his report, so maybe it's just a typo then on the
Keith's
agenda.
report, it just says request authorized township staff.
I mean, I would say that it should be the motion, to request that the township staff review the annual water usage. The reason I say that is because I don't know that I don't see the authority board as being able to direct township staff, and the board of supervisors would be in that role, but I think the proper motion is to request the township staff. I mean, it's semantics, I realize that.
So I just make a motion to request all township staff to review the annual water usage reports for the non-residential commercial users and needed for additional capacity / EDUs.
Is that your motion? I'll second.
I said, I already did that.
He didn't let me finish it. He
You're
said-
an all yay.
Yeah, he wasn't done yet.
That was a big one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And then tomorrow night, we can just bring that to the supervisors meeting.
It's not life threatening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we'll make the
What-
agenda.
Is it absolutely critical? I mean,
No,
we
no,
could
it's
in
not
fact just bring it to
critical.
the board of supervisors
Bring-
workshop in August, correct?
Right,
That'd be
yeah,
the part.
easily.
I guess when you say township staff, we're really talking about him and possibly codes, right? We're not talking about him.
We're talking about, what, John, you're talking about?
Yeah, but I wouldn't consider.
Well, he's a contractor for the
Township
staff, so I mean,
No, but he works for us.
true.
I do,
Yeah, I
but I am
would,
a contractor.
Yeah.
right, now,
For you.
I would say that, yes, for you, that we would direct you, but not other township staff. It's directly related to the functions of the authority. Again, it's semantics, but it's not,
Just put that in
As
there.
long as it gets done, I
I'll throw
don't
on the
care.
board of
Yeah.
supervisors workshop agenda for August.
I'll do whatever you want, Harold.
I know.
Just tell me.
We're on it.
I don't know.
That way we can support John, whatever it is.
yeah,
So
and then
it's
because,
clear.
the reason I say that is because the township and the authority are separate entities, that's,
Makes sense.
Well, I would think at least you.
Can't, like, squeeze that in there or
Because you're gonna
something?
see patterns.
I know, I think it goes in the August workshop.
Not mission critical,
Well, it
not
says
critical,
that.
right? You know, one of those.
Yeah,
All the things we learned.
Yeah, for the openings. Okay. I'll make a motion that we accept the bills, invoices.
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Anything you need to say?
I have my one question of the EDUs, for perfect discussion for that. So that's good.
Alright, make a motion to adjourn at 7:28.
I'll second.
1928.